Hello, today we're going to build a waterfowl tote made out of paracord for carrying your birds out of the field. Super easy project to do. All you need for this project is some paracord, a lighter, and something to cut the paracord with. For this project you'll need two 30-foot packs of paracord in two different colors, and you'll need two additional 5-foot pieces. So for this total project, you'll cut the strands at 4 inner strands at 5 foot each. That'll give you 4 leg holds on each end of the strand, so you'll be able to carry a total of 8 birds with this. Your 2 first weave strands on the cobra stitch will need 12-foot sections, so 2 different colors, 12 foot each. And your second weave, you'll use the same 2 colors at 12 plus each. So if you had a 30-foot strand and you took 5 of it off and then another 12-foot, your remaining piece would be about 13 foot long. I would just leave the extra foot on the second weave and cut it off at the very end. So this just happens to be the paracord that I have on hand. I've got a piece that's just under 5 foot, so I'm actually going to use that for my measurement for my 4 inner strands. This piece is right around 5 foot long. I've got another project in mind for this one. Probably use the black with this, and then this one's solid green, so we don't want 2 solid colors. This one looks like it'll be sharp with it. So these are the 2 colors that I'll use for my first and second weave, and I might cut 2 of my additional strands out of this extra paracord on this end. So now I have all my pieces cut. I have my ends burned and flattened so that they don't fray. I've got my 5-foot sections. What I did is I took a foot off of each end, tied a knot in there. That's where we're going to start our weave from, and that's where we're going to end our weave from. So on both ends there's a foot tied off. Just make sure that you get all the kinks out of the rope first, and make sure that they're nice and tight in between your knots. Then I have my first weave ropes. My 2 colors are melted together to create one. And here is my second weave, and they're melted together to create one as well. Hopefully you're able to see this. So here's our 2 pieces. They're melted together to create one strand. You're going to place that junction right underneath the knot, and we're going to do a cobra stitch. With the cobra stitch, whatever color that you pick to go on top of the other lines, you're going to continue with that. So it's going to be on the right, then it's going to be on the left, it's going to be on the right, it's going to be on the left. So in this case, I'll pick the black to be on top. Just create a loop like that. The camel color is going to go over top of the black rope and behind the 4 strands, and then back up through the loop. So in the beginning, this is going to be a lot of cord to pull through. And then just kind of work it, try to keep that piece centered. Until you got a good knot there. I like it snug. I like a nice tight weave there. So since we started with the black on top, we'll do that again. Black on top of the weave. The camo color over top of the running end strand of black, behind the 4 strands, and then back up through the loop from behind. And then just tighten that down. And once you got a couple on there, then it goes pretty quickly. So black on top, camel top over the running end, behind the 4 strands, back up through. So you kind of see that I'm only flinging the 1 cord. So you can have that black cord right at your feet and relatively not moving, and just kind of flip-flop the other cord back and forth, and they don't get tangled up very bad on the floor. We'll make that a little tighter. And we'll show you one more. Black on top, camo over the running end, behind the 4 strands, up through the loop. And then you can see the pattern on here where you got the black in the middle and you got the camel color on the outside. If you were to flip it over, you'd see the reverse. Camo on the inside, black on the outside. So as long as you're starting to get a pattern like that, you know you're doing it correctly. And that's a pretty nice, thick little piece of cordage there now. So we're gonna do that all the way till we get to the other end of the knot. I prefer doing this step just free-handed out over the floor. That way you can keep your black cord directly below you, and then you can fling this camel colored cord to the left and to the right pretty easily. And then just keep pulling, keep the knots tight, and that's the pattern that you should start to see. Once you get down to the other knot, pull everything nice and tight. And then here we're going to cut off the excess, and you want to leave about 1/4 of an inch outside. I don't know if you can see that right there. We're going to leave about 1/4 inch right there. And then we're going to take that and we're going to melt that down. And you want a nice good sized glob of melted paracord on the end. And you don't want to like light it on fire. You're just kind of touching it to it and melt it. And then once you got a nice sized glob, just squish it down with the side of the lighter. And here you just want to kind of hold it till it cools back down and becomes solid again. And then it should come off your lighter and not leave a bunch of globs on there. But what you created here was just a nice big wide end on there that should not pull through, at least not very easily. So we'll go ahead and do that same thing on the other side. Then we're going to kind of touch it to it. Start getting that nice big glob melted on there. Making sure that you hit it kind of from all angles. And then once you got a nice big glob and it gets close in, just kind of smush it in. Hold it there till it cools down. And then release it, and then you got a nice solid thing there. So here's what that looked like. This was the side where we went black on top. As you can see there, that's the pattern that it came out with. Now if you flipped it over, you'd have exactly the opposite of that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reset back a little bit on each end, and we're going to do the same cobra stitch over top of this one. And what that's going to be is kind of extra thick padding for your shoulder. You could stop right here if you wanted to, but you got 8 birds and something that thin, it's really going to cut into your shoulder quite a bit. So that next cobra weave is just kind of giving you that extra padding. What I did is I took just a measurement of how wide my hand was. That was what I offset here. And then you have a choice. You can either do the cobra stitch with the same pattern that you did before, which was putting the black on top, which gives you the middle of black. I chose to reverse it, doing the camouflage one on top and the black wrapping around behind it. And then pulling that tight. And then I like the look of that where it was just a different color pattern opposite of what it was before. So you keep going with that second weave until you get to the same amount of offset on the other end. After that, you can go ahead and undo the knot and then create the 2-wrap hangman's noose, melt the end in, bash the end back, the melted end back onto the knot itself, and you're set to go. So let's show you, that's what it'll look like, but let's show you what it'll look like on the other end as we do it. So first we'll undo that knot. And that was there just to keep the rope straight. No matter how much you pull on that, there's so much friction with the other knots that you're never going to come undone. So let's see if we can get that in frame here. Make an S. Squeeze your S down. Take your tag end. Wrap it around twice. And as you're coming back up the third one, tuck it in the middle of that loop. And pull till that's tight. Now you can see you got a little noose there, right? Now you want to grab the non-sliding part and the knot. Squeeze that down flat. You should have just a little bit out. We're going to remelt that. See how I'm holding that end that slides out of the way with my finger? Let's get a little goopy gob on there. And then smash it down into the knot. Then you can check it, make sure that it slides up and down. So the idea there is you could either put the bird head in here or the bird foot, and then just cinch it right down onto the bird. All right, we're gonna repeat the process 3 more times, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end. So here's our completed waterfowl tote. I left the ends a little bit longer. Remember I said I had one piece that was a little bit shorter than the other one. Thought I might like it at the end. I kind of do. That way you wouldn't have everything sitting together at, you know, all the heads or all the feet right at one level. It's created a nice padding for your shoulder. So the idea here would be that you would put a bird into one end, cinch that down, your next bird would go on the other side, even out the balance, then keep going. And then as you were walking out the woods, you could either hold it in your hand like this and you got a good grip on all the birds, or if you want to fling them over your shoulder, you could do that as well. And this extra piece up here, that second weave, is providing a little extra padding there. So I did like how that came out with the opposite colors, with the black in the middle and then the camouflage in the middle. It's reversible, so you know, if you like the other look, just flip it over. Same either way. Black in the middle up here, camouflage in the middle down here. But overall, nice easy project. The second one I did it in the evening in a hotel room, after work when I'm out of town. Could easily be a project that you just sit around and do for 15 or 20 minutes at a time around at home. But very easy to do and very happy with the outcome of it. And you know, used about 70 feet of paracord. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video.